it's MK, and I am here with another Kit Conspiracy layout using the 49N Market Spectrum Sherbet collection. I am also playing along with Follow a Sketch February, and this is the sketch that we will be creating with today. So out of my stash, I pulled out this thicker set called Genius, and I plan on using this word Explore because it matches the green in this collection beautifully. Also from the die cut pack as well as the chipboard pack, I pulled out a few green and dark aqua items. I have 3 photos for this particular layout. I also have the Tidal Wave rub-on transfer sheet that is 12 by 12, and you get one single transfer sheet with these beautiful collaged pieces going across the layout or the carrier sheet. I have this beautiful wood grain piece of wood grain from Paper Rose. It's my favorite hexagon shape on the back, and then of course it's this wood grain with the gorgeous green inside. And then also from the Spectrum Sherbet collection, I have the painted foundations in speckled. So what I'm going to do is cut the branding strip off from this from my background paper, which is the speckled, and because it was like white on one side, I flipped it over and cut it from the back. The best thing about this green cutter, this cutter pillar, is that it doesn't leave that curled back edge that some paper trimmers do. So I really like that. All right, for my angled piece, I'm going to go ahead and just rip my wood grain at an angle from corner to where I thought was a good section. Didn't measure it, didn't think about it, nothing like that. And then I edge distressed it using my edge distresser tool just for that one edge, and then later I'm going to edge distress the bottom half too, or I've already done that. I can't remember. I think I probably already done that. And then I'm deciding which of these collage pieces do I want, the darker piece or the one right in the middle. I actually choose the darker piece because of all of the elements that I picked out for for the rest of the layout. So I wanted a little bit of contrast. So I'm going to cut around all the pieces that I'm going to use in various spots. So I'm going to cut off all the paint splotches, the stitching, the butterfly, more paint splotches, and then I'm going to cut this not exactly in half, but just randomly around. So that way I have a thin border for the bottom of my layout, and then a bit of another piece for the upper right hand corner of my layout, just so that way I have some sort of representation down at the bottom of my layout. Now I'm also going to take a branding strip that I cut off of this particular one. Oh, I haven't done the bottom yet. See, I thought I did. I'm going to do this so that way when I add a branding strip, because I didn't realize that there was a striped piece of representation on the sketch, so I had to add this in. Well, this is the branding strip that I cut off of my base paper, so it didn't come from anywhere except for my base paper. All right, so I roughed up using my fingers because again it's too skinny for my edge distresser. So I'm going to go ahead and put these on my layout, and I love how distressed they look, especially side by side. It's a tea time. Okay. All right, now get to work. I'm going to go ahead and take the rest of this collaged edge and cut it in half, but I need another piece of paper. So I'm just going to go ahead and rip a piece from my wood grain. It's roughly 3/8 of an inch. I mean, I'm not really sure exactly. And I'm going to cut my my collage piece, I don't know why I have such a hard time with that, in half, so that way I have more to work with. And I'm just going to go ahead and burnish that on really quickly. I love 49N Market's rub-ons, you guys. I know I've said it before, but I love it. It's like a clear sticker without the shine and very little rubbing. It's almost like they're an instant stick, but you just need to tell it, okay, this is definitely where I want it to go. For that permanent stick. It's just so cool, you guys. And then I just used my finger again to distress the edges of that wood grain that I put up at the top. I love having that little border up at the top. I'm going to go ahead and put my 2 photos. It's almost like my son and my husband are back to back with each other. So I really like that. And then this is the roots of the tree that my daughter is standing in front of. So I'm just going to go ahead and tuck that in. This tree was the coolest thing ever, you guys. It did not look like it actually fell down. It looked like it just grew this way, and the roots, sorry, the roots actually went upward before they went down into the ground. It's just unique. In all aspects, just totally unique. At first, we thought it was a bush before we realized it's a tree growing on its side. Just amazing how nature heals itself type of deal. So I'm going to go ahead and take all of my pieces now that I have the main elements of this layout put down. Instead of having a tag sticking out of my photos like in the sketch, I'm going to just go ahead and use a viewfinder because that's absolutely perfect. It's almost like, look at the view and all this other stuff. And that is why I went with the title Explore, just so that way it's we're hiking. We're not really exploring. We're hiking. And because there's still snow on the ground up in the mountains, we lost the trail and ended up on these rocks. And we would have never, if we didn't keep going and we just thought, oh, we lost the trail, we're done, let's turn back. If we didn't keep going and keep knowing that, there's no way we really, truly could have gotten lost. All we have to do is start heading back down, and eventually we would have ran into the trail. We would have never found these really cool rocks, this really cool tree, and I think we only went a little bit more higher in elevation and then called it quits because we could never get back on the trail. However, the farther we kept going, the more we found rocks that were like stair-like. And so we thought that we were on another trail going somewhere else. And eventually the snow made it a little bit too risky to keep going up. And so we stopped climbing and started heading back down. Because of, see, I don't even know my own words. Because of the elevation that we are at, here we're about, we drive up to about 7,400. And then we hike up to about 9. That's where our final destination is supposed to be. And I believe here the snow only allowed us to go to about 8. So we didn't get very far on this particular day. But it stays snowy almost until about July on these mountains because of the elevation. And sometimes you can find the path and keep on the path, and then it's just a few spots where the sun doesn't shine, that the snow still stays, stays and lingers, and then sometimes it's not. So, it just all depends on where you're at and where, how far you want to hike up. All right, you guys. So that is the layout. I did finish it off with a couple more of the little green dots and a very lonely green star that were on the sticker sheet. And I unplanned, didn't even plan on using those, but I do like the fact that it adds a little bit more of these puffy-like stickers to the layout. So that way the title's not very lonely. And I added a few more of those rub-ons that I cut off of the carrier sheet and laid them out on the layout. And that is it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, you guys. Follow A Sketch February's link will be down below. It's actually just a Facebook group for Sandy's Facebook. She is State Goddess here on YouTube, as well as Scrapping Reflections. That is her storefront name over on Facebook. So she is all three peoples, in case you guys are curious. And then, of course, Janet Fritz will have a video up for today for Kit Conspiracy using this same exact collection. I cannot wait to see what she is doing today. And I'm kind of curious if we're going to end up doing the same thing, because I've noticed a couple layouts have been very similar even though they're not exact. So I'm loving this, you guys. Absolutely loving this. All right. Thank you so much, and I'll check y'all later. Bye.